This is the first air layer I had ever done in my life. It turned out very well, and it was actually very simple to do. I'd like to take a few minutes today and show you the tools and techniques I used, and hopefully get you air layering yourself. Alright, let's see how it works. Here are the tools we'll be using for air layering. First, I have Clonex, which is a rooting gel. I'm sure any other brand will do fine. I have a little brush to apply it, a grafting knife to scrape off the bark, some foil to protect the air layer from the sun, and then containers to actually hold the soil. I got these on Amazon, and I'll put a link in the video description. This is the large size. You can see it has a hole for the branch to fit through, and this soil can be placed inside. This is the medium size that we'll be using today. It's very similar. And then of course the small size. Alright, let's get air layering. The first thing I'm going to do is find the branch that I want to air layer. This is a Pastilier tree, and I'd like to share it with a friend. So I've gotten my branch. I'm going to take this leaf off here because this seems like a good spot to do the air layer. Next, I'm going to take the grafting knife and just scrape some of the bark off. Now, a lot of the tutorials you'll see will tell you to actually take off a ring of bark. I'm not going to do that today because I didn't do it on my last ones, and they worked fine. So you can see I've just scraped some bark off there. Next, I'm going to take the Clonex. I'm going to dip it in the hormone, and I'm going to spread it around the area that I scratched off here. Okay, I'm going to give that a second to dry off. While it's drying, I'm going to take some soil. I have soil here in a pot that I have pre-moistened. Just soaked it with some water, gave it a really good soak, and I'm going to pack that into this ball. I'm going to pack it tight so there's no gaps. Okay. That looks pretty good. And then I'm actually going to come over here, place it around the branch. You can see it fits very nicely over it. It's a tight fit. And then these containers actually have a nice little latch here that goes and keeps the soil secure. But just as an added measure, I'm going to take the zip tie that comes in the package and add that as well. Alright, and there you have it. It's a air layer setup in a couple minutes. Next, I'm going to take the piece of foil, just wrap it around so the roots are protected from the sun, and we'll leave it like this for a few weeks, and I'll come back with some updates. It has been 3 weeks and 1 day since that original video. We're back at the same Pastilier branch, and I was checking in on it today, and I got to see some roots poking through. So in just 3 weeks, we see root growth with this very simple method. Of course, it's not ready to be taken yet. I'm going to let the roots get a little denser, fill out the ball more. One thing I want to mention while I'm here is the importance of having a clear container like this. You're able to see not only the roots and check on their development, but also you can check on the moisture level of the soil. So if I needed to add more water, I would do so by pointing a hose at this end here, and it would get enough moisture in there to dampen the soil. And of course you could see when it needs it by looking through the clear plastic. Alright, I'm going to let this go for probably another I don't know, week, maybe 10 days or so, and then we'll come back and see how it looks then. It has been 13 days since that update video and exactly 5 weeks since the air layer was set. You can see that the roots have filled out one side of the container quite nicely and are working their way across to the other side. So it could probably be cut at this point, but I'm not in any sort of rush, so I'm going to let it go for another week here and hopefully have the roots fill out the entire container nicely. So let's check back in a week. It has now been 7 weeks since this air layer was set. You can see this side of the bulb continues to be very well filled out by the roots, and they have spread out to the other side as well, although maybe not as much as I'd wanted it. The reason is probably because we're now in mid-November and everything is starting to slow down because of dropping temperatures. So I think today is the day I'm going to cut this and get it planted. Alright, let me show you how I do that. Okay, I'm going to cut the branch here right below the container. I'm going to undo the clasp and then slowly open it. You can see it's a bit dry right now, but this is how the air layer looks. And then I'm actually going to take this leaf off and then put it in some water to really just soak the roots very well. You'll see there's some air bubbles that are coming out. I'll wait for those to stop and make sure the water gets in around the roots. Okay, and then I'm going to put that in a pot. And add some soil around it. And there it is. The plant is ready to share with my friend. The whole process took 7 weeks. I think we could have probably done it in 5 or 6 if it was a bit warmer outside, but given that we're towards the end of the season, everything was starting to slow down. I hope you learned something from this video and just how easy air layering can be. Thank you for watching.